Okay, so I'm in my Tinker's, well, not Tinker's, got Tinker's stuff, but I am in my Agrarian Skies test world here. I'm going to go over a couple things that might help out with starting with Agrarian Skies, because I've noticed a few concerns with it. This world, obviously, is a flat world. This is not what you spawn into, so don't freak out and report it as a bug to me because you're spawning into a void. It's a sky block. But this is my test world where I test out things, and it's not a void. Alright, so anyway, there are a lot of things off the bat that people notice have changed. If you're familiar with my Magic Farm pack, some of the changes will not be too surprising to you. Otherwise, well, there's some stuff that's definitely different. Now a couple things about Tcon, or Tinker's Construct, I guess as most people call it. I always call it Tcon because it's just shorter. In this mod pack, I have a mod called Iguana Tweaks. Iguana Tweaks changes a bit about the way that the Tinker's Construct tools work, the way that patterns are made, etc. When you go to make a tool, when making Tinker's Construct tools in normal packs, a lot of people are used to automatically having several modifiers or being able to add modifiers on. Iguana Tweaks takes that away. The only way to get a modifier on a tool off the bat is to use a thaumium part in the initial build. If you want 2 modifiers, you're going to need to use 3 thaumium parts. Otherwise, you don't get extra modifiers. You're going to have to level up the tool. You'll notice on this it says like skill level clumsy. That's because you have to level the tool by using it. It goes through, I want to say it's 6 different levels, all the way up to adept or expert. I can never remember which one comes last. You'll know. It'll stop getting levels. The line underneath that tells you how much experience your tool has towards leveling up. If you hold shift, it will tell you the stats about the material, the tool, what you need to repair it with, what the durability is, yay sticky keys, what the bonuses are, and how many modifiers are on it. Also any attack damage. So if you got a tool in a request reward and you have absolutely no idea what to use to repair it, hold shift, look at the repair material. Control will tell you what exactly is on it and what it's modifying. That's from a handy tool called Tcon Tooltips. It's another mod made by Squeak. It's very useful for being able to figure that out. Now, since I used thaumium from this, I could go ahead and put modifiers on. Now, some of the modifiers have been changed. So, like, for instance, if I wanted a Silk Touch, you'll notice it's going to cost me a block of emerald to do that. Or I could just cheat it in through Creative for this purpose. This is one of the parts a lot of people don't notice. Any crafting grid, up to and including open your inventory up in survival mode, put your tool in there, put that in, and you've modified your tool. This only works on a fully repaired tool. If your tool has a damage bar on it, you're going to have to wait either until auto repair fills it up if you have the auto repair modifier, or you're going to need to repair the tool. This is also how you can go about let's say I want a different head on a pickaxe. I take a fully repaired tool, I put that on, and suddenly it has changed to it's now an Ardite pick. Quite useful, especially if you've gotten some seemingly crappy tools as rewards in the quest system from Agrarian Skies. Just go ahead and replace a part or two. Replace all the parts. Make it the best tool you can make. This is another little thing about Tcon that has nothing to do with Agrarian Skies, but a lot of people seem to not notice. If you place a crafting station next to a chest, you can access the chest from inside the crafting station. Quite useful, I would think. Or at least I find it so, not everybody. Seeds! I'm constantly being asked, how does one get seeds in Agrarian Skies? You're going to need a path of grass. A nice patch of grass. Because you're going to need to do this. Bone meal it. I recommend getting yourself a nice sickle. The Invar one is very useful. And then you left click, and voila, everything jumps into your inventory. Well, okay, if you have magnet mode on, which I do. Works very nicely. You're going to get harvest craft saplings, you're going to get seeds, and since I updated the config and fixed my miner derp from earlier, you can get all of the seeds now. There are no missing ones. So any seeds that you might need for completing any of the quests for cooking purposes, or even just for survival, or just because you're like me and you want to have a farm that has every imaginable seed and sapling on it, can be gotten through bone meal. Well, except forestry ones. You're going to have to breed those. That's the purpose of breeding the trees. You cannot craft the harvest craft saplings. That's been removed. Another thing people often don't notice until they're further along when it comes to it, the clay buckets. These can pick up lava, water, and milk. It may pick up other liquids. It's not supposed to. I believe we've got that mostly solved, and it should only pick up those. If you use it to move lava, the bucket will break after you place the lava. So don't go moving lava with your only bucket when you have no clay left. On the off chance that you're incredibly unlucky, and you never get rain, and you have no idea what to do, and you're sitting there going, but Jaden, it won't rain and I can't get clay. It's okay. Calm down. It'll be fine, really. All you need is a glass bottle. The nice part about glass bottles, you can't make an infinite water source with them, but the reason you can't make an infinite water source with them is because when you're picking up water from, say, the lovely pond at the top of the Agrarian Skies map, it doesn't pick up the source block. However, a water bottle such as this can be used for the purpose of filling up the barrels from ex nihilo. So, voila. See? Water. All you need is 3 pieces of sand cooked into glass, and you have 3 water bottles that can be reused over and over and over for the purpose of putting water into your barrel for making clay. So, if you're sitting there waiting for rain, maybe consider doing something else instead, like sifting dirt to get cobblestone. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this. When it comes to T-Con and the iguana tweaks, if you shift while mousing over a pattern, it will tell you what materials you can actually make that pattern out of. If that material is not listed, you can't make it out of that. Anywhere where it says stone tool parts can only actually be used for the purpose of creating casts. Don't try and make stone tools. It won't work. You're just wasting your time. Why? Mainly because I'm mean. Mean works. In Agrarian Skies, unlike in some of my other packs, you can make a wooden hoe. I do allow you to have hoes. But to make a mattock, you're going to need to make it out of metal and metal only. So, vanilla hoe or work to get your mattock. Take your pick. Let's see, what else was I going to cover on this? Oh, right, spawn eggs. Everybody's constantly going on and on about the spawn egg thing, and or you know, how do I get mobs? If you can't get passive mobs to spawn, I've been nice. I gave you recipes. I know, me being nice is really weird. But look, make yourself a mob tower. Get some arrows. Take the arrows, make chickens. Cows are going to be some leather around an egg. There are ways to get leather. One of my other videos covers one of the easiest ways to get leather in Agrarian Skies, so I'm not going over that here. Squid, pigs, and sheep. I did not add a mushroom recipe because if you get ancient spores from sifting sand, you can just right click on a cow and turn him into a mushroom. So I'm not adding that. And I am not adding hostile mob spawn recipes. It's very funny, not going to happen. No. Nice try. A lot of recipes such as the bucket, machine frames, and servos, if you look, they actually have an extra recipe, usually along the lines of aluminum. And a lot of different recipes I have made it so that you can replace iron with aluminum because, oh my god, do you ever get way too much freaking aluminum. And sometimes you want to save your iron just a little bit. So pistons, machine frames, servos, buckets, and cans can all be made out of aluminum. Machine frames are used in so many things it's not even funny. You can make them out of steel, iron, or aluminum. There's options. Options are good. I like options. Servos can be made out of iron, silver, invar, bronze, steel, and aluminum. So honestly, people going, oh my god, I have to use iron to make servos and I don't have enough iron. Pick a different metal. There's plenty of metal types. Pick one. Surely you have one of the other metals. Use it. And stop crying on my shoulder. I'm not that sympathetic. I'm sorry. Dyes. That's also come up a bit. For right now, pulverizing wool won't get you dyes. That may change in the future. We'll see. I'll put a note of it in the changelog if it does. For now, the best way to get dyes is going to be either bone mealing a lot of grass for flowers. Have fun with that. Or bees. Put a bee down, plant a flower next to it. Next thing you know, you have flowers everywhere. Take those flowers, turn them into dye, voila. See how that works? Most of Agrarian Skies, you're going to find that mods are very closely linked together. Things like AE cables often have a recipe that can be made with some other mod's product. Like in this case, you will get slightly more ME cables if you use the raw plastic from MFR as opposed to the glass. You can make the silicone from AE by using a 9 raw plastic instead of smelting quartz. So I suggest a rubber farm at some point in your endeavors. It would probably be a good plan. And I think that covers most of the basic stuff that keeps coming up over and over and over that needs to be known. Now, when it comes to the quests, you won't see this because you don't have the edit thing, but people keep asking how the reward bags work. This is how they work. So, these are all of the different item sets that you could get. You may notice they're kind of colorful, unless you're colorblind, in which case, I'm sorry, you're probably not going to notice the fact that they're very colorful. This is the loot tiers, for lack of a better word. This is basic, good, greater, epic, legendary. So, these, the troll items, fit into this group. So they have, this is the weights for them to show up. They should not, from 2.1 on, show up in epic or greater. They really shouldn't. Same with the gray tier. On the green tier, which is the third tier, you start seeing that it's got a little bit lower chance of showing up in the basic bags, and it starts getting a small chance of showing up in the epic bags. All the way up to where the highest chance of something to show up in the epic bags is the, well, matching tier. The highest chance of things that will show up in a legendary bag is the matching tier. and everything else kind of just fits in around that. But in this way, you should not end up with epic items showing up in the lowest tiers, or the lowest tier items showing up in the epic tiers. Now, if you're playing previous to 2.1.1, you may. The other part of this is you'll see that it says maximum retrieval count. Well, you can't actually see this. I can, you can't. This means you're not supposed to be able to get most of these more than once or twice at a time. However, if you've been playing this for a while, I didn't originally have that ability, and so you might have gotten some things more times than possible. However, if you've started fresh with 2.1, most of the rewards are locked to only showing up 1 or 2 times. There are a few that can repeat multiple times, and there are very few that can repeat infinitely. They're useful, but not great. That's mostly the ones in this category, the decorative. They're useful for building, but they're really not going to make or break the game for you. If you are having an issue, this is the book you need. You just type in that, and it will give you the book. If you're looking for a specific player book, you would type that in, followed by the player name. When you open this up, you can go in here, and you can shift. You can't see I'm holding shift, but you can hold shift, and set or unset quests as being completed. So you can go through, and if something were to go horribly wrong, which hopefully it doesn't, but does sometimes occur because we can't predict everything, and your quest were to be reset, you can get your server owner, or you can just go yourself into cheat mode, and you can complete quests up to where you were. You will get duplicate rewards. Consider that, a tax for the fact that, progression was broken, and so you get extra rewards for having to go through and say, hey, recomplete it. Couple people have been asking about this category. This category doesn't matter at all. You can complete the entire map without doing it. This is just the bragging rights, silly achievements category. And that should be everything you really need to know to be able to figure it out. Everything else is pretty much in the book. Read the book, really. If I've got cute writing here, it probably tells you something you need to know. If you're just looking at this and going, oh, I need to turn in wood, and you didn't read the quest, this is not my fault. Read the quest, really. Most of them will tell you things you need to know. And if you find bugs, you find problems with the quests that are not completable because I somehow put something in there that you can't obtain, please report it on the bug thread. I can't fix it if I don't know about it. So please, 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 report it. Thank you.